5 fun places to kiss a woman that drive her wild. Hi my friends, it's the speech of Jessica. Please subscribe my channel. There are many ways to touch a woman without ever laying a hand on her. The most powerful kind of connection doesn't begin on the skin. It begins in the heart. When a woman feels seen, understood, and cherished, every word, every look, and every gesture becomes its own kind of kiss. The first place to kiss a woman is her mind. A woman's thoughts are where her world begins. When you listen, when you remember the small details she shares, when you make her laugh or help her see herself with more confidence, you're kissing her mind. You're telling her, I'm paying attention, you're safe with me. And nothing draws a woman closer than the feeling that her mind is not only heard but valued. The second place is her soul. This is where you connect beyond logic. Through compassion, empathy, and presence, you don't need to fix her pain, you just need to hold space for it. When she shares her fears or dreams and you don't interrupt, when you look at her with soft eyes that say, I get you, that's a soul-level kiss. It's the kind that lingers long after words fade. The third place to kiss a woman is her dreams. Every woman carries quiet visions for her life, goals she's afraid to say out loud, passions that keep her up at night. When you believe in those dreams as much as she does, when you encourage her to rise, when you tell her you can do this, you're kissing her ambition. You're fueling her courage. That kind of support becomes unforgettable. The fourth place is her pain. We all have it, the parts of ourselves we try to hide. When you hold her during her low moments, not with pity but with strength, you show her she's not defined by what broke her. You're kissing her scars with patience and reminding her she's still worthy of love. That kind of gentleness is powerful. And the fifth place to kiss a woman is her presence. Be where she is. Put down your phone, turn off the noise, and give her your full attention. Look her in the eyes when she speaks. Listen not to respond, but to feel. When she realizes you're truly present, not thinking of the next thing, not half there, it touches her deeper than any physical act ever could. Real intimacy isn't built through touch, it's built through awareness. When you reach her mind, soul, dreams, pain, and presence, you give her something rare, emotional safety. That's what truly drives a woman wild. The feeling of being loved not for her looks, but for her essence. Kissing a woman's mind isn't about clever words, it's about curiosity. When you ask her about the things that move her, when you want to know what shaped her beliefs or why she sees the world the way she does, she feels that interest like warmth. It's rare for someone to listen without judgment, to explore her thoughts as if they're treasure. A woman who feels mentally understood relaxes. She becomes playful, expressive, and creative. Her guard lowers because her spirit recognizes safety. You haven't just impressed her, you've inspired her. And when you kiss her soul, you touch the part of her that lives beyond words. You do this when you forgive quickly, when you choose kindness instead of ego. She notices when you're gentle in a world that often isn't. She feels it when you stand beside her through uncertainty without demanding that she pretend to be fine. That's the kind of soul-level connection that can't be faked. It tells her you see the light in her even when she can't. Kissing her dreams means becoming her quiet cheerleader. You don't have to fund her vision or solve her path. You simply have to believe. When she talks about something she hopes to build, resist the urge to point out the risks. Instead, remind her of her strength. A woman blossoms when she feels believed in. Your encouragement becomes fuel. Your confidence in her becomes the wind at her back. She may chase those dreams alone, but she'll always remember the one who told her she could fly. Then comes the tender act of kissing her pain. This one takes courage. Pain isn't always visible. It shows up in hesitation, in old fears, in the stories she doesn't tell all the way to the end. You kiss her pain by showing patience, by not using her past against her, by refusing to disappear when she feels unlovable. You remind her that she doesn't need to hide her cracks. They're part of what makes her human. Healing doesn't happen through grand gestures. It happens when she looks at you and realizes, here, I don't have to pretend. And to kiss her presence, that's the quiet magic that holds everything together. When she walks into a room, stop and notice her. Not just how she looks, but how she feels. Be still enough to sense her mood. Maybe she's proud. Maybe she just needs you to share a moment without saying anything. Attention is love in motion. Every time you're fully present, you're telling her you matter right now. These kinds of kisses never fade. They don't belong to time or distance. They're remembered through feelings. How safe she felt when you spoke. How seen she felt when you listened. How valued she felt when you believed in her. Physical affection can start a spark, but emotional presence keeps the fire alive. A woman who's kissed in these ways doesn't just fall for you. She grows with you. She becomes more herself. And that's the beauty of true connection. Two people expanding, not shrinking. When love matures, it stops being about possession and starts being about elevation. You no longer ask, "What can I get?" but "Who can we become together?" That's what drives her wild, not lust, but resonance. The feeling that her energy meets yours in truth, that her heart can rest in your strength. She doesn't crave perfection, she craves peace. And peace only exists when love feels like home. When you truly understand how to kiss a woman's mind, you learn that communication isn't a game, it's art. It's the patience to ask thoughtful questions, the courage to admit when you don't know something, and the honesty to share what's real instead of what sounds impressive. She doesn't need a perfect man, she needs an honest one. When she sees you thinking before you speak, respecting her opinions even when you disagree, she feels something rare, intellectual safety. That's where trust begins to grow roots. Kissing her soul means you stop trying to impress and start trying to understand. You begin to sense her energy even when she's silent. You notice how she withdraws when she's overwhelmed, or how her laughter grows softer when she's uncertain. Instead of demanding answers, you offer presence. You say with your eyes what words can't. "I'm here." You don't need to be perfect to be loved. That kind of compassion doesn't just reach her heart. It heals it. To kiss her dreams is to honor her individuality. It's reminding her that her path matters even if it's different from yours. Sometimes that means giving her space to grow, to explore who she is becoming. Support isn't about control. It's about faith. When she knows you believe in her, she starts to believe in herself more deeply. Every goal she reaches becomes a shared victory because she knows she didn't walk alone. Kissing her pain is quiet work. It's staying when it would be easier to leave. It's listening when she brings up the same story twice because she hasn't healed yet. It's not minimizing her emotions with quick advice. It's just holding her hand through the storm. Pain makes most people uncomfortable, but those who can stay steady during someone else's hurt, they become unforgettable. You show her that love isn't just for her bright days, it's a shelter when the sky turns gray. And to kiss her presence, that's the simplest and hardest act of all. It's turning ordinary moments into sacred ones. You're driving together in silence, but you reach over and rest your hand gently on hers. You're having dinner and you look up from your plate just to say, "I'm happy you're here." Those moments don't demand grand gestures. They're small, real, and deeply human. Attention is the most valuable form of affection because it tells her, right now, nothing matters more than this moment with you. These are the kinds of gestures that awaken a woman's heart because they tell her she's not just being loved, she's being understood. Her body may remember touch, but her soul remembers connection. And connection like this doesn't come from luck. It comes from awareness. It comes from slowing down enough to see her, to hear her, to let her know she doesn't need to earn your care. When you love in this way, something shifts inside both of you. The relationship becomes less about filling emptiness and more about sharing abundance. She doesn't chase validation and you don't chase control. You both rest in the quiet, knowing that this love is grounded, not rushed. The truth is, women don't fall for words or gifts. They fall for consistency. They fall for the man who remembers how she takes her coffee, who texts her after a long day, not out of habit, but out of thoughtfulness. They fall for the one who shows up, not when it's convenient, but when it's needed. That reliability is its own kind of passion, steady, safe, and deeply attractive. Because in the end, These 5 kisses are really 5 promises to think of her with respect, to honor her spirit, to nurture her purpose, to comfort her wounds, and to treasure her presence. That's what drives a woman wild, not excitement that burns fast, but love that endures quietly. It's the feeling of being cherished in the smallest ways. Every single day, when a woman meets a man who knows how to love her in these quiet ways, everything inside her begins to soften. Her defenses lower, her laughter becomes more real, her energy feels lighter. She doesn't need to question his intentions or analyze every word. She just knows. She feels it in the way he listens, in the way he speaks, and in the way he shows up. The truth is, the strongest kind of attraction doesn't come from desire. It comes from trust. When you kiss her mind, you tell her she's interesting. When you kiss her soul, you tell her she's enough. When you kiss her dreams, you remind her that her future matters. When you kiss her pain, you tell her she's safe to be vulnerable. And when you kiss her presence, you tell her she's not invisible. Every woman remembers the person who made her feel like she mattered in all these ways. The kind of love that drives a woman wild is not about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about those small, intentional moments that whisper, "I see you." It's how you remember the story she told you months ago, how you notice the tone in her voice when she's pretending to be okay, how you support her without taking away her strength. It's in the consistency, the calm, the steadiness. And yet, this kind of love requires maturity. It's not built overnight. You can't learn it from social media or books. You learn it by slowing down, by unlearning the rush to impress, and by practicing presence. You learn it by being patient enough to hear her even when you don't understand, and humble enough to apologize when you've missed something. When a man learns to love like that, he becomes magnetic. He doesn't chase, he attracts. Because his energy is grounded, not desperate. He's not trying to take from her, he's giving to her peace, presence, and emotional safety. And that's something rare in a world where most people are starving for attention but afraid of connection. Kissing her mind, soul, dreams, pain, and presence teaches you something profound. That love isn't just about romance, it's about awareness. You start realizing that true connection happens in the pauses, the silences, the shared looks that say more than words ever could. You begin to understand that real intimacy doesn't start in the body, it starts in the heart. The way you love a woman in these ways also transforms you. When you learn to listen deeply, your own heart grows softer. When you learn to be patient with her fears, you become more patient with yourself. When you celebrate her growth, you start believing in your own. The love you give becomes a mirror that reflects back the best parts of you. And she, too, evolves. She starts to feel safe expressing her truth, unafraid of being judged or misunderstood. She becomes more open, more radiant, more confident, not because you changed her, but because you created space for her to be. That's what love should do. It should bring out the freedom to exist without fear. When you give love this way, you're not just building a relationship. You're building sanctuary. A space where both of you can breathe, grow, and rest. A place where kindness replaces ego, where curiosity replaces assumption, and where respect replaces control. That kind of connection doesn't need fireworks to last. It builds its own quiet flame that never burns out. There will still be challenges. You'll disagree, you'll stumble, you'll have moments where understanding feels far away. But when love is rooted in these 5 places, those moments won't destroy you. They'll deepen you. Because both of you know that what you share is worth the effort. The foundation is strong enough to hold imperfection. So yes, there are 5 places to kiss a woman that drive her wild, but none of them are physical. They are the sacred spaces of her being, her thoughts, her essence, her purpose, her wounds, and her presence. When you learn to honor those, she won't just love you, she'll trust you. And when a woman trusts you, that's when the deepest form of love begins. This kind of love doesn't fade with time, it grows richer. Because when you connect with a woman's soul, you're not chasing moments, you're building eternity. So kiss her mind with curiosity, kiss her soul with kindness. Kiss her dreams with belief. Kiss her pain with patience. Kiss her presence with attention. Do that, and you won't just win her heart, you'll awaken her spirit. And that's a love that doesn't end.